It's an absolute honor to be here at the Shamola Institute for Engineering Technology. Thank you for having me. In this historic city of Prayagraj, where three rivers meet, but I also believe is a sangam of tradition, technology, and most importantly, transformation. There's something magical about being in college. The energy, the curiosity, the boldness to dream. It reminds me of my student days, where every idea was still possible. The ancient symbol of Ouroboros is a symbol of a serpent eating its own tail. At first, it's horrifying. This symbol of Ouroboros does not represent destruction. It represents renewal. The courage to transform by consuming what you once were. Because look around us, our jobs, our technologies, even industries are changing faster than ever before. As engineers, we love systems, stable, reliable, and efficient systems. I come from a family business, the NTF Group. We are designing and manufacturing composites and plastics for the automotive industry, spanning across India, having multiple plants and few group companies. We have been widely making and building the automotive industry. I grew up in these factories. I watched my father and my grandfather solve everything, not for glory or fame, but for stability and giving us that dignity. I have seen the highs, new orders, expansion, celebration, and I have seen the lows, tough markets, sleepless nights, strikes, and somewhere I realized that my motivation was not chasing the highs, but ensuring that me and my family never have to relive the lows. After I went for education to Australia, I studied engineering in Mechatronics. During my last year, I had the talk with my father. He gave me a choice. You can stay back in Australia and do something of your own. You can come back to India, do a job if you want. Startups were not very common that time. Or you come to India, join me, and let's build something together. But if I were to join him, there were very strict conditions.
लाइट ऑफ करा दो। भैया लाइट नहीं है मेरे भैया, आप लोग फ्लैश है, वो फोटो के लिए हम लोग क्या दिए, आप फ्लैश के लिए लगाया गया है, फोटो के लिए। आप लोग हमको डिस्टर्ब कर रहे हैं, इधर दिक्कत हो रही है।
No AC cabins, no heating in the cabin, have food in the canteen, and so on. So my journey began not in meetings, but on the ground. During the first year, there was a machine breakdown. The production line stopped. Everyone was very frustrated. When people were fixing the machine, one of the operators pulled me aside and he told me, "This machine has been making noise for a long time. I have been telling my seniors, but no one listens to me." They didn't know the root cause, but they knew something was wrong. Even then, they asked me to keep going. There are always signs, but somehow we choose to ignore them. How often do we all sense something is wrong in our lives, in our work, in our habit, in our thinking, or in our health, but we choose to ignore it because stopping feels inconvenient? Let me tell you a story. Imagine there are two machines, two operators. One night, one of the machines stops. The operator calls his manager in the middle of the night and says, "Sir, the machine is down. I know this is very important time for us, but don't worry, I will do whatever it takes to fix this." He works all night, drenched in sweat and grease. At 7 a.m., he calls his manager again and says, "Sir, I am done. Somehow I managed to make this work." The manager gives him a pat, says, "Good work." The plant manager congratulates him, says, "Well done." The next appraisal or the next increment, everyone remembers the man who saved us that night. He gets a raise, a pat on the back, and a story to tell. Now, think of the other operator or the other machine. The machine that never stops. Because every time the operator hears a small vibration, feels a slight imbalance, or hears some noise, he fixes the problem. No breakdown, no late night calls, no drama, no hero moment, but also no praise. Because in most organizations and sometimes even in life, we reward the firefighters and not the fire preventers. That's when I realized we often celebrate recovery more than consistency. But the real heroes of reinvention are not the ones who fix the problem. The real ones are those who sense what could break and act before it does. A few years later, I was training in our purchasing department. I noticed a few processes that could easily be automated. At first, when I told everyone was happy to change, to accept this. However, when we actually started, there was resistance. Not because it could not be done, but because change is uncomfortable. If we only keep listening to our fear, we'll stay exactly where we are. And so at NTF, we began to change. We modified our ERPs, our SAP system, digitized every transaction, every process. We restructured everything, even the roles and responsibilities for people. We told everyone, unlearn what you know, learn what you need. It wasn't easy. It was painful. It was uncertain. But that is what real growth looks like. Meanwhile, the world around us was shifting. Electric vehicles, sustainability, digitization, and we knew our traditional strengths were not enough. We had two choices: cling to the old or build a better version of ourselves. We chose the hard one. We invested in advanced composites, lighter, stronger, more sustainable materials. And slowly, painfully, but beautifully, we began to evolve. The real meaning of Ouroboros is not a symbol of death. It's a symbol of evolution. It is a symbol to be reborn. You must be willing to shed your own skin. To move forward, digest your past, your mistakes, your habits, your comfort zone. At NTF, we learned this the hard way. We had to stop saying, This is how we've always done it. And start saying, what if we tried a better way? And this is true for all of us. We live in an age where AI is diagnosing diseases, robots are learning emotions, and cars are driving themselves. So the real question is not whether the machines can learn. The real question is, can we unlearn? Because the future does not belong to the biggest, richest, or the smartest. The future belongs to those who will renew themselves. Think about your own life. Every person in this room has faced something that has ended. A friendship, a job, a dream, or a version of yourself. And in that ending, there was but also potential. And that is the cycle of life itself. Nature recycles everything. A fallen leaf feeds the soil that grows to a new tree. Nothing is wasted. So why in our lives or in our organizations do we resist the same laws of nature? Why do we cling to what is comfortable, even when it is clearly outdated? We say we want change, but we hold on to what is safe. The Ouroboros reminds us the only way to survive is to be brave enough to transform from within. Because sometimes the only thing standing between who you are and who you want to be is your attachment to the older version of yourself. We talk about sustainability. Most people think sustainability is recycling plastic or zero emission. Yes, but it goes beyond that. It goes beyond materials. Mental stability is the key. The capacity to keep evolving and to help people evolve the world. Let me try to summarize my points. I have come to believe that reinvention is the ultimate sustainability, because whether it is a company, an organization, a person, or even civilizations, those who survive the longest are the ones who keep rewriting their own story. So, the next time life challenges you to change, don't resist it. Don't protect your past. Consume it. Digest it. Turn it into energy. Reinvention is not an option anymore. It is the new oxygen. The ones who will breathe change will live. And those who fear it will only suffocate in their own comfort. So don't protect your past. Don't worship what worked. Burn it, learn it, build again. Because future does not belong to the strongest, it belongs to the most self-renewing. So, eat your past before the future eats you. Thank you. Thank you, TEDxSIET, and thank you, for reminding me that the future always belongs to those who dare to